Hi guys, car crash lawyer Scott DeSalvo here, and in this video we're going to talk about the 5 different kinds of car crashes and what you should do if you've been involved in a car crash. So thanks for watching and stay tuned. Welcome back. I talk to a lot of people who call my office with their car crash, and I sometimes get the impression that they think that there are an infinite number of kinds of car crashes, but lawyers who do these kinds of cases know that there are probably only about 5 kinds of car crashes. And understanding these 5 different kinds of crashes and the sort of defenses that insurance companies and defense lawyers use in these cases will arm you with the knowledge you need to make your case as strong as possible. So let's get started. The first kind of crash, obviously, is the rear ender. It's probably the most common kind of car crash. It's also the easiest to prove, because if I show a jury photos of damage to the rear of your car and damage to the front of the other guy's car, they're going to probably know whose fault it is. But there increasingly have been more and more insurance companies and defense attorneys trying to defend these cases by saying that you were backing up down the street, you suddenly stopped, or that their clients had brake failure. Another one I hear is that your brake lights weren't working, or that you lane changed in front of the defendant and then hit your brakes. So that's sort of like a sudden stop defense. Sounds pretty ridiculous, but I do hear those defenses more and more. The next kind of car crash I want to talk to you about is the T-bone crash. The most common factual scenario here is somebody's coming out of a driveway or a parking lot or a gas station, and so their attention is focused on the sidewalk and traffic coming from multiple directions, and they just don't see you. These kinds of crashes are always a big surprise to the people in the car, but just because they result in very serious injuries quite often, that doesn't mean that insurance companies aren't trying to get off the hook. The common defenses here are that in almost every T-bone I've ever represented anybody in, they always say that you were speeding. In other words, the injured person was speeding. So I guess the idea is that they were carefully pulling out and you came out of nowhere and you were driving so fast that you were literally out of sight, and then you came into sight and then the crash occurred. Again, sort of a specious defense, but you should be aware of it. The other thing they'll sometimes do is say that you turned in front of them or that you ran a traffic light to cause the T-bone crash. The third kind of crash I want to talk to you about is the head-on collision. Head-on collisions can result in really big hits, because if you're going 30 miles an hour and the other traffic is coming 30 miles an hour as well in the opposite direction, and you have a head-on hit that's a 60 mile an hour collision, can really cause serious injuries. These crashes most often happen when somebody crosses the center line or is driving the wrong way on a one-way road. These do happen, and those are also the defenses. Usually, if they're going to try to defend on liability, they try to say that you crossed the center line or you were driving the wrong way. Hope you are never involved in a head-on collision. They're terrible. The next kind of case is the lane change or the turn case. This is simply somebody who's driving, and whether they're purposely changing lanes or whether they're accidentally swerving over because they're fatigued or they're falling asleep, as a result they crash into your car. It can be anywhere from the front of your car to the side of your car to the rear of your car, but I also include lane change / turn in this category because I have represented people who are stopped next to an 18-wheeler that makes a wide right turn, and then the trailer crashes into the stopped car. These collisions occur because people aren't checking their mirrors and their blind spots, and the number one defense to these that I hear about my client is that my client is speeding. They claim that they're making a careful lane change and then the other car sped into their lane, I guess. Or they'll claim that you were the one doing the lane changing. Those are the defenses. Finally, the last kind of car crash I want to talk to you about is the left turn red light case. So you probably know that under the Illinois rules of the road, whoever's turning left has to grant the right of way to everybody else at the intersection or near to the intersection. In other words, you're not allowed to make a left turn until it's safe to do so. The exception to that is if you have a green turn arrow, then you have the right of way. But I will tell you, in every left turn arrow case that I've ever handled, the defendant always says that they had a solid green light and the guy turning left had a red light. So these always turn into he said, she said cases. They're sometimes tough to win if you're the one turning left. If the other guy turned left and caused the crash, it's a better case. Very common kind of crash. So what should you do if you've been involved in one of these crashes? Well, the first thing you should do is collect witness information. I know it sounds like sort of a weird thing to ask you to do after a car crash, especially if the other guy is sort of admitting fault. But believe me, once a defense attorney and an insurance company gets their hand on the guy, they may be singing a different tune. So the best way you can protect yourself is to get a witness, or more than one witness, who saw what happened and are on your side. The other thing you can do is get photos of the scene of the crash as well as the cars. Now, the damage to the car is important, but even more important for liability is what part of your car is damaged. That information can help us prove that it was the other guy's fault. Finally, if you're familiar with the traffic light timing, or even better, if you take a video, maybe on your smartphone, of the traffic light timing, that will sometimes defeat a defense to a case like this if they're telling a story that is inconsistent with the traffic light timing. I always tell people, if you're hurt or you have any concern about being hurt after a crash, see a doctor. Insurance companies defeat injury cases every day when people have gaps in medical treatment. So protect the value of your case and take care of your health, because you only go around in life once. If you're hurt, see a doctor. And finally, consider talking to a lawyer. Lawyers offer free consultations. I offer free consultations. And this way, even if you don't hire the lawyer, you'll know where you stand. If you have any other questions, please feel free to give me a call. I'd be happy to talk to you. I hope the information in this video helps you, and if I can be of assistance, please give me a ring. Take care. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed the video, please click the like button. Or if you'd like to see more of my videos, click subscribe. Thanks again.
If you've been hurt, insurance treating you mean, call 888-HURT-318.